I want to start with a fundamental truth. Suffering is an unavoidable part of human existence. It's woven into the very fabric of life. No one escapes it. Not the strongest, not the wisest, not the happiest, not the most intelligent, not the most well-educated. No one escapes suffering. Suffering, in its many forms, challenges our meaning and forces us to confront the chaos that lurks at the edge of our consciousness. So when you say, I'm thinking about ending my life, you are confronting that chaos directly. And that's a brave thing, though it may not feel like it. Because it's a confrontation with the deepest parts of yourself that's been crushed under the weight of despair. But here's the paradox. The very act of contemplating death is a sign of life's persistent spark within you. It's a signal that beneath the darkness, there is still something worth fighting for, something that demands your attention. Now, let me speak to you like someone that's been there also. Someone that's been staring into dark rooms too. First thing, before you do anything permanent, think about what it actually leaves behind. And I'm not saying this to guilt you, you know. I'm saying it because most people romanticize the silence after. They imagine relief, they imagine escape, but what you leave behind isn't silence. It's an explosion. I've seen people destroyed for decades after losing someone to suicide. Not months, not a year, but years and years on end, decades. They replay the last conversation over and over like it's a corrupted save file they can't reload. What if I said something different? What if I called one more time? So you don't just disappear. You become a permanent question mark in someone else's head. And I want you to know that your pain is real. Your suffering is seen. When you are depressed, your brain lies to you. It tells you they'd be better off without you. That you're a burden. That you will ruin everything. That they will move on. And look, that voice feels logical and rational. It feels cold and intelligent. It's not. That's depression talking. Depression is a distortion. And when you're deep enough in it, you don't even know you're distorted anymore. You think you're finally seeing reality clearly, with clarity. That's the trap. Life at its core is about finding meaning amid suffering. It's about forging order out of chaos. And that process, your process, is what makes you fundamentally human. When depression takes hold, it's as if the chaos has overwhelmed your inner universe, reducing your purpose into nothingness. But consider this. The universe does not owe you happiness. It does not owe you safety. It offers only chaos and order, suffering and growth. It's your responsibility, your burden and your privilege to find meaning in that chaos. To stand in the face of despair and say, I will not let this chaos consume me entirely. That's what being human is. That's what it means to carry the burden of consciousness. Many people in your position have felt the same way. You know, feeling hopeless, like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. But I want to validate your feelings. I want to validate your pain. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to feel like giving up. Those feelings do not define you. They are symptoms of an illness. An illness can be treated. You are more than your pain. You are more than your thoughts. What's often missing in a depression, what's often missing in depression is a sense of purpose, a reason to carry on. And that reason, your reason, must be rooted in responsibility. responsibility to yourself and to those who love you, responsibility to the future you can still shape. It's not about grand heroics. It's about the small, deliberate acts of courage that reassert your agency in a universe that is constantly seeking out to dissolve order. The path out of despair begins with a fundamental acknowledgement. You are not merely a victim of circumstance. You are a participant in this chaos. You have the capacity within you to impose order, to create meaning. And this is the most difficult battle you will face, which is the battle of finding purpose in the midst of suffering. Suffering is not the enemy. Suffering is the forge in which character and meaning are built. The question is, will you allow it to destroy you? Or will you use it as a catalyst to transform yourself? The choice is yours. Look, if you've reached a point where you genuinely believe there's no other way, that's not a sign you should die. You know, that's a sign that you need backup. Tell someone, walk into a hospital. I don't care if you feel dramatic or if you feel weak. Weak, you want to know what weak is? Weak is dying in silence because your pride told you not to speak. You owe it to yourself to explore every single option before you do something final. And this is where the philosophical meets the practical. The act of reaching out, of seeking help, of trying medication or therapy. These are manifestations of that responsibility. You are choosing to confront chaos head on rather than surrender to it. Every moment you choose to keep fighting, you affirm that life, despite all its bullshit, all its suffering, is worth the effort. Have you talked to a psychologist? Have you told your family how dark it actually is? And look, don't say that, never say that I don't want to worry them. You think your funeral won't worry them? They'd rather you reach out now than grieve forever. Try everything. Yes, antidepressants have side effects. And yes, therapy is uncomfortable and it feels humiliating to admit you're drowning. But you know what else has side effects? Death. And no one has, no one has no undo button. I've seen antidepressants turn lives around. People who thought they'd never smile again. Not everyone, of course. They're not magic pills. But for some people, it's like someone turned on the lights in a room they thought was permanently dark. And if you're already at rock bottom, what do you have to lose by trying? You can always quit tomorrow. I'm going to repeat myself. You can always quit tomorrow. You only get to die once. So delay it, put it off. Then again, give yourself one more day, and then another, and then another. While you're here, try to hold on to hope. Experiment with survival. Try therapy. Try changing your routine. Reach out to someone or a support group. Speak the truth about how bad it is. Look, sometimes just sharing your pain takes some of its weight away. Exhaust every possible door before you close the final one. Feelings are not forecasts. Just because you can't see a way out right now doesn't mean one doesn't exist. And also, you don't fully own yourself the way you think you do. You're not just an isolated object floating in space. You are someone's son, someone's partner, someone's friend, someone's future memory. You matter in ways you cannot even calculate. Even if you don't see it, even if you don't feel it. You leave a hole when you go. And if you think that hole closes, it doesn't. People learn to live around it. They learn to carry it. And now, for those who lost someone, for those of you who lost someone, your pain is real, and your grief is heavy. You replay the last message, the last call, the last argument. You think, if I had only known. Listen carefully. Depression can take someone to a place so dark that logic doesn't reach them anymore. And sometimes you cannot pull them out. You are not omnipotent. You are not responsible for solving a disease that humanity barely understands. And yes, depression can be psychological. Yes, it can be trauma, but it can also be biological, neurological, inflammatory, chemical. Sometimes it hijacks perception itself. And if you're blaming yourself every day, ask honestly, would you say those same cruel things to anyone else in your position? Would you tell a grieving father that he failed? Would you call a sister or a brother useless because they missed one sign? No. So why are you doing it to yourself? Apply the presumption of innocence to your own soul. You did what you knew what to do at the time. You loved how you knew how to love. That has to count for something. The most tragic combination that fuels suicidal thoughts is basically hopelessness mixed with self-hatred. I will never get better. I am a burden to everyone. It's a deadly cocktail. If you're feeling like that right now, let me repeat myself once again. Feelings are not forecasts. Just because you can't see a way out doesn't mean one doesn't exist. Depression narrows your vision. It makes the world look like a hallway with no doors. But doors are there. They always are. You're just in the dark. And look, you cannot save everyone. That's the painful truth. People get sick. Sometimes they die. Sometimes depression wins. But if you're still here breathing and watching this, then it hasn't won. So fight ugly, fight messy. Fight with medication if you need to. Fight with therapy. Fight with brutal honesty. Fight by surviving another day out of stubbornness. You don't have to feel hope. Just don't act on hopelessness. There's a difference. And if you are planning to act, if you thought it through, then please tell someone immediately. Go to a hospital. Reach out someone physically present. This is bigger than pride. There is no shame in emergency help. There is no coming back from death. But there is coming back from depression. I've seen it. I know it's slow, it's ugly, it's not cinematic, but it's real. And if you survive this season, one day you might be the person whose words stop someone else from ending theirs. Imagine that. That's how I feel. Your pain transformed into rescue. Don't cancel that possibility. Delay the decision. Stay just for today, and then tomorrow decide again. Your life matters more than the darkness right now. So keep fighting, keep holding on. You're needed, you are loved, and your story isn't finished yet. In the end, life's deepest truth is this. You are here because there is something for you to do. Something only you can do. your suffering and your pain, they are not meaningless. They are the raw material from which you can craft a resilient, purposeful life. A purposeful, resilient self. So I ask you, what is the meaning you will forge from this chaos? What responsibility will you accept? And how will you confront the darkness? As a victim or as a conscious agent seeking to impose order on the disorder? Because if you do that, if you take responsibility, your life will not only survive, it will transform. You will find that even in the depths of despair, there remains a spark, a reason to keep going, to keep believing that your story isn't finished yet. And remember, the path to meaning is narrow and difficult, but it's the path worth walking. For in facing the chaos within, you discover the true strength of the human spirit.